Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Here.
Mr. Foster?
Here.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Here.
Mr. Fritsch?
Here.
Mr. Knippel?
Here.
And Mr. Shaw previously informed staff that he be absent this evening.
Thank you. Correction, approval of the August 16th minutes. Do we have a motion to approve as written?
So move.
A second.
Second.
Please call the vote.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
And correspondence, Diane, you want to lead us off here?
Yeah. I had several pieces of correspondence. I had a question about something with the fire department, and I and the constituent spoke about it. I did recommend she give Steve Wilke a call to get better answers than I had, and that took care of that one, as far as I know. I had another call from another constituent wanting to know something about signs and can they put signs up, and what they wanted to do would not be allowed under the current sign ordinance, which I informed them. I did say that I would let them know if we revisit the sign ordinance, because there's been some talk, but we haven't done anything about it yet, so I did that. Okay. We got a call today, we returned the call today, but the person wasn't home, so I don't know what the one was that I got today. Call.
A call today.
Yeah, so I'll tell you next time.
Alrighty. Is that it?
Yep.
Mike?
It was rather quiet. The only thing I had was a few folks asking about the what do we call it? The
Ad hoc all purpose?
yeah, no, the
Senior
Beach.
service? Oh, the beach. The hot dog.
yeah, people under the impression we're shutting it down or selling it or something along
Sandbar?
the sandbar.
okay.
So
I
yeah,
thought
I
we
let
made
them
that
know
pretty
we're just
clear
looking
last
at a feasibility study to see what it would take to replace that building with something better.
Okay.
Were they happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
All right, and then I believe I talked to the same person about signage, a church in town,
Okay.
and for the same lady about the police and fire,
Okay.
about the fire. Pretty much the same answers.
Okay.
And also talked to a gentleman about a no truck sign, and actually turned it over. I've contacted the county because I believe they control the area, so I'll get a hold of him yet. And another question on boat launch waiting lists, and I'll get to him, I'll get back to that guy. And I talked to actually a business owner about Bartles Beach and vending, so that was my 2 weeks. Bug?
I had a call up from a resident about the mulch that was being put around, despite the fact that there was a letter. There was some concern that the letter was given after the mulch was put down, and I talked to Mr. Getz about that, our Parks Department, and he was saying that it was an explanation and that they were trying to prevent the trees from being damaged and by lawnmowers and weed whackers. And if he had a problem, his complaint was that he couldn't get his lawnmower between the mulch and the curb. And Mr. Guts said that if he wants to rearrange it, fine. But just keep it away from the trunk of the tree so it doesn't cause that problem. And I called the resident and told him that, and so apparently it's taken care of.
All good? All right.
And also, when Rob talked with Doug, and Doug told me, It's only the young trees that are having the mulch put around them, not the big old ones. They're tough and they don't need it, but the young trees are the ones they're doing it with.
Or should we do
About
more-
12 inches and under in circumference.
Yeah, because it can kill those trees.
The weed whackers do.
The
'cause
weed
it just
whackers
eats
and
up-
lawnmowers that bang into them.
Okay.
So,
Girdle 'em.
so if you have an old tree that didn't get mulched, it's not going to be.
Anything else?
No.
Please?
I also just had some correspondence on the Sandy Beach issue with the sandbar, and I just let them know what we were doing, so it's been handled.
Okay, fair enough. Questions of public comment? Actually, Misty, can you read that, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Questions and public comment. The public is encouraged to address the council at this time regarding items on the agenda unless the item is the subject of a public hearing. If your comments pertain to a public hearing, you are asked to hold your comments until the hearing. Public comment may also be made at this time on items that are not on the agenda if you have registered with the city clerk before the meeting has been called to order. The state's open meeting law discourages action by the council on items not listed on the agenda. Please keep your comments limited to 3 minutes and state your name and address when starting your comments and fill out the sign-in sheet provided.
All right, thank you. Do we have anyone who wants to address? Seeing none, city managers report, Steve? We got a bunch, including budget.
Oh, well, let's start with something that's not on there, I don't think.
What you got?
South Main Street.
Okay.
We got our state report back. It's been delivered to the state agencies. It's not through the state agencies yet. So we're still waiting on being able to start our right-of-way acquisition, which defines our timeline for when we can get the project bid out and started. We're still shooting for 2018 for most of it, with a portion in 2019, which is from Woodland Beach Road south. The project does now eliminate the need for the additional roadway that would have taken out several trees from Pinnacle South. So that was at least some benefit. We went through and did a pretty good job of finalizing details on the construction and when it would be done. And then we were notified at the end, but just in case you didn't know, this project might not be funded.
That's perfect.
Okay.
The dam project is moving forward. The dam head walls are in, the dam channel is in. They're actually doing the spillway now. Had some questions about the spillway. It doesn't make a difference on our insurance. It dropped us from a high to a medium, but it doesn't make a difference on our insurance. The only way we get to the low level is by taking those buildings out, which we haven't done, so it's not a substantial change. The reason we put in the spillway is because we held several public hearings and had held surveys, and the vast majority of the residents requested that we put the spillway back in. So that information is out there. A gentleman showed up at the Plan Commission and asked several questions about Sandy Beach. I don't know that they were specifically related to the restaurant. Asked if we were selling the beach or the trailer park, which is, to this date, I haven't been directed to sell the beach, so there's no price tag on it, so there's no issue there. It's more along the lines of, we were looking at a new layout for the beach, but that's been on hold until we figure out what we're doing with the restaurant, which is why you did the study, to make sure that we knew what was economically feasible down there and what wasn't. So,
Well, yeah, and for the record, that's a city-owned building that was in need of work, lots of work. And
Yeah.
the study is going to tell us what would be the best fit to rebuild. Would it be
Right.
just a restaurant or restaurant with some hotel or with whatever? And so
Convention
that's
center
what
or
we're doing
something.
with the study. It's
Right.
just figuring out what we should do to best use that land, so.
the one meeting for the council, on the Council of Governments, that was put up by Jefferson County, that had gotten canceled because there were a lot of people having problems making the meeting in the summertime. So it's been rescheduled for September 29th from 5:30 to 8 at the Jefferson County Fair Park Activity Center. So you're all invited. The agenda is attached.
The letter says that the RSVP was due the end of August. Is that soft?
Yeah, that's soft. They got time.
So who do we have going to that right now? Just you? I mean, I don't mean council, I mean other staff.
No, just me.
Just you?
And for council, I'll actually be, my son's moving to Tampa, so that whole week I'll be gone. So I will not be there.
Okay. Would you like a council member to go with you? Oh, okay. We can talk to you about that.
Yeah. I have included all the budget documents. They are the proposed preliminary. I think they're as accurate as I can make them with some pending state information still outstanding. Primarily, the levy limit sheet hasn't been worked through yet, so we're working on that. There are probably a couple other items like the expenditure restraint number, although we're not going to get that this year. That's not even going to be an issue. So, the whole budget's there. You can download it to your computer and search it through PDF. So it should be easier to search through than any paper budget that you've ever had. The actual city manager's budget address won't be done until the next meeting. We will need to start scheduling budget study sessions. And there's no fifth Tuesday until the end of November, so that's not going to help us.
So we're looking at a 6 o'clock meeting.
A 6, or maybe the next city council agenda is kind of like this one, probably really short. If the council president works at it, we could probably be done by 7 and drop into a study session.
Okay.
So we do a couple of those, we might be able to have everything in place by the time we need to get it done.
Well, and if we had to, would anyone object to starting earlier, 6:30 or 6 o'clock, being done and then going in?
No, I
We'll
don't
look
have
at
a
that too,
problem.
maybe.
No,
Would be all right?
we could just cut out supper.
We don't want you to do that, but, you know.
Anything for the
Anything for
council.
the council. Check registers.
Is there any news, official news, about the senior citizen center idea? Because it was in the paper that it was going to be at the UCC church, at the congregation.
She's
church.
having meetings to just kind of let people know, or try to get some input from the community on what they'd like. And actually, I think I told Steve already at the end, recommendations, future agendas. On our next agenda, we should have we have enough people now
Get
that
an
we will
update.
have on our next packet. We'll have a committee, I believe.
I think she's actually got some people who are meeting there now, that the UCC church has allowed them to start meeting there, and they do have some people who are utilizing it for that purpose. But I anticipate in the long run that what they're looking for is more.
Good, so it's not in lieu of?
No, I don't think it's in
It's
lieu of.
until, okay.
Yeah.
Because the
It's like-
article in the paper kind of
It was,
led me to believe that maybe, okay, we're all happy.
no, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there. Other than that, all the budgets are there. There's a police report and a check register. Other than that, that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Questions for Steve? We're good, all right, thank you. With that, we will put the library board minutes from July 18th, Plan Commission from June 28th, and Housing Authority, June 28th this year. Those minutes will be put on record. Council business, we have 3 tavern operators licensed. If there's no objection, we could do them all together.
Right.
Could we read all 3 names, please?
Samantha Mills, Kelly Harrington, and Nicole Garman.
Nicole Garman. Do we have a motion to grant tavern operator's license?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Call the vote, please.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
All right, discussion decision, stormwater plaques, Eagle Scout project. Do we need a motion to allow, we get a motion to suspend the rules and allow our Eagle Scout and to come on up and speak?
I don't think so.
So moved.
A second?
Second?
Call the vote, please.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
Alrighty, and what we got there?
Andrew Martinez is here, so is Mr. Colgrove.
Motion 16911, can we have that one read, please?
City Council Motion 16-9-1-1, designating an Eagle Scout project to provide information on stormwater inlets. Whereas the City Council of the City of Lake Mills has authority over the maintenance of rights-of-way within the City of Lake Mills. And whereas the City of Lake Mills has heretofore allowed Eagle Scout projects to paint information on stormwater inlets and existing rights-of-way. And whereas the City Council is considering a request from an Eagle Scout to allow the attachment of plaques with information on the inlets. And whereas the City Council has reviewed the proposed policy issues and determined to take the following action. Be it therefore moved the 6th day of September 2016 by the City of Lake Mills Council that Section 1, that the Eagle Scout Stormwater Project is hereby approved and the city manager is authorized to administer the project in accordance with the provisions provided below. Section 2, the council determines that there is a need to place plaques with information regarding protecting the state's waterways and lake and stormwater inlets within the city. The city council is hereby approved placing plaques with information regarding protecting the state's waterways and lake and stormwater inlets within the city and authorizes the council president to sign a motion.
And we got a motion to adopt 16911,
So moved.
a second?
Second?
All right, any discussion? You wanna come on up and tell us what you're gonna do?
Okay. Hello, my name is Andrew Martinez. I am a Boy Scout from Troop 148 who is working to become an Eagle Scout. In order for me to become an Eagle Scout, I of course need to do an Eagle project that will help the community and/or environment. The Eagle project that I plan on doing is adhering plaques onto storm drains to warn of illegal dumping of chemicals into Rock Lake. See, the Rock Lake Improvement Association has already bought the plaques and plan on placing them on, and we plan on placing them during the weekend of the 10th and 17th as a backup in case of weather. That is the plaque, of course. Let's see. There are 66 strains that need identification. I will have Boy Scouts in the Rock Lake Improvement Association doing the volunteer work with adults supervising. The training date is to be determined depending on the schedules of the adults. The boys will put on the plaques while the adults supervise, and I will be managing the project. I would also I estimate that the project will take 2 days at the most. I think we can get it finished in just one day, probably finished by the afternoon. And the younger boys, who I would rather not be handling adhesives, will be placing the door hangers onto doors of surrounding houses right by the storm drains. Okay, thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to contributing to my community and the surrounding environment. That is what the back says. Does anybody have any questions?
Sure, and where exactly are you gonna adhere the plaque to? Is it the curb or is it the sewer?
Yeah.
Or is it going on the sidewalk?
The actual storm drains, or
Right onto the storm drain?
yes.
And what kind of, using epoxy or something?
We're using an adhesive that was manufactured by the same people who made the signs, aka Das Curb Markers. Das Manufacturing. Okay.
What were the dates? The date that was your target date?
The 10th.
Okay, that's this coming weekend?
Yes.
So on Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
Do they give you any idea of how long the adhesive will last and the plaque will last?
Well, according to the website, it said that the adhesive would last for years. That's what the website said. But I can guarantee you it'll last longer than if we had spray painted them on.
Mhm.
Whereas this can last, well, like the website said, for years. Spray painting them on would only last for about like a year, and then we would have to
Year or
redo it.
two.
I assume the adhesive is environmentally friendly?
Yes, of course.
All right. Any other questions? No. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate that you're doing this.
Thank you.
Call the vote, please.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
I
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you. And
Oh, and thank you to the troop as well for all their help as well.
thank you. Resolution 1636, library, can we have that read, please?
Resolution 16-36, resolution requesting exemption from county library tax. Whereas the Jefferson County Board has established a county library service and levies a county library tax as authorized under Section 43.57, Sub 3 of the Wisconsin statutes. And whereas Section 43.64, Sub 2, Sub B of the Wisconsin statutes provides that a village or city is exempt from the county library tax if it levies a tax for public library service and appropriates an expense for a library fund as defined by Section 43.52, Sub 1, during the year for which the county tax levy is made a sum at least equal to the county library tax rate in the prior year, multiplied by the equalized valuation of the property in the city or village for the current year. And whereas the City of Lake Mills will, in 2017, appropriate and expend an amount in excess of that calculated above, now therefore be it resolved that the City of Lake Mills hereby requests of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors that the City of Lake Mills be exempted from the payment of any tax for the support of the county library service as provided in Section 43.64, Sub 2. Be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be forwarded to the city clerk, by the city clerk to the following parties: the Jefferson County Library Council and the county clerk.
And,
I'm sorry, the fiscal note estimated municipal 2017 library appropriation is $394,500.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Resolution 1636.
So moved.
And second?
Second.
All right. And that's pretty much housekeeping, correct? This is a yearly deal. Any questions? Call the vote, please.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
And ordinance 1170, second reading. Actually, do we go through, this is now an amended, I believe, right? How many were there? I saw three. 1, 2, were there two? We just have that one read, please.
I'm sorry,
We are at the one,
you just want, what did you need read?
just what's new on it? The new piece? Isn't there new?
I don't think there's anything new. She provided some information in an email regarding the possibility of making some issues throughout the whole community with the use of golf carts.
Oh, no, the actual ordinance. If you look, I think section C, using,
They put the
I'll just
sandy
read it.
beach thing in.
Oh, I see. My paper copy is different than what's on your tablets. It looks like there's a suggested amendment
right,
to
that's
ordinance
what I'm saying.
1170.
And they're all marked 1170. The one I read, I know she was suggesting maybe if we wanted Sandy, but there was we'd asked for the crossing for daylight hours equipped with reflective designers. That's in one of them, which I believe is
Right.
what the,
That's the one where she has suggested changes to the,
Yeah, and it looks like the bold print on that one is including Sandy Beach Road in
Right.
between intersect with, now it says Sandy Beach Road and then to Pinnacle Drive. That's what I'm seeing as the difference between the two.
right, that's it. But I think there are going to be more yet.
So we should just wait till the next meeting and then put it all together. Can we have a mock-up of the right way to do it for our next meeting?
yeah.
So we don't have to do that at the meeting?
Because right now, it's second reading. I almost feel like we should table it and because there's enough of them in front of me that I don't want to,
Well, this is just the second reading. You just move it to the third
Move it to
reading,
the
which will be the
third,
next
and
meeting.
we'll have an
And
explanation.
then at that time, if there are any questions, you can just table it until the next.
Right.
Would that be okay?
Right, I think the one thing is, if I understood it right, she thought of the Sandy Beach one that's similar to the one that we were talking about on Pinnacle Drive. And so she thought if we're doing one, we should do both. So that's why she added that.
She added that one in there.
And we were in a staff meeting. I think a police officer mentioned Topel's Crossing to her. And then there was some discussion about some other issues with golf carts and other vehicles, similar vehicles around the community. And so then she was, I think that's when she sent out another email talking about a private golf cart statute. So we may, it may take longer than the next reading, that's for sure.
Okay, which is okay, we'll get it right.
Yeah.
I got a question. How do we handle, we got golf carts, but how do we handle, we're getting other things, the name escapes me and I've used them.
If they're for handicapped purposes, like a motorized wheelchair or a motorized handicap cart, they're
Yeah,
allowed.
or the segways.
I haven't seen
And,
anything on the Segway, but I would assume it's similar to a golf cart.
Wouldn't a Segway fall into the same category as a bicycle?
Bicycle, I would
Well, it's
think.
motorized, so.
It's motorized, so it's not quite like a bicycle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and
They're allowed to
mopeds
ride
have
that
to
on the
follow the
streets, so
same
they have to follow
rules
the same rules,
as
but it is a
regular.
motorized vehicle.
Yeah, that's true, I didn't think about that.
I just don't know how big of a
Not a
problem
big
it is.
motor, it's not a really big motor,
And
because
and electrical,
it is a motor.
small.
But they can go anywhere, golf carts can't.
What about, there's another one like that, makes me think of Back to the Future with
Oh,
hoverboard.
hoverboards or scooters that have motors.
Well, no,
Motorized
there's a new hoverboard out, and it's similar to a Segway.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a little bit smaller, but it's still electric powered with wheels. So yeah, that's,
How,
I don't know
how
how
do
to-
we handle those?
I don't know.
Are they allowed to have them on the streets?
No, you have to fall into a certain category to be on a public street. That's why golf carts aren't allowed.
How about the sidewalk?
Yeah, I don't know. But there's electric,
You got handlebars.
scooter boards, whatever those little things that
Little
kids used to have that, and they push it with their foot. Now they're
Scooter.
electric.
Scooters.
Scooter.
Yeah,
But now they have a motor on them,
yeah.
of course they do.
You don't have to work at anything anymore.
So the question is, maybe, since we're talking about golf carts, maybe we should also look at the others too.
Well, isn't this was brought to us specifically because of the Pinnacle Drive issues.
Correct.
The second we accepted the subdivision and completion, all those crossings had to be designated.
Yeah.
And so that was, that was what we noted. And then, then there were a couple others that popped up as well. So then there's a whole broad segment of other issues that started, as it became a conversation piece within the staff, people start going at the staff meetings, well, what about this? And what about this place? And how does this work? And so it brought on a lot of additional conversations and debates on what's been done and what's been expected to have occur. So it's
Well, right now, as it stands, we were dealing with golf carts going from one fairway to another, and golf carts at the trailer park going down to Sandy Beach or whatever, which, both should be dealt with, but, there are laws in place. You can't just drive a golf cart down Main Street. You know what I mean? We already have all that in place. If we would
Yes.
allow a hoverboard to go down, it would be different, but.
right. What
there's
Vicky's
already-
noting is that you can change the codes. The state allows you to designate certain golf cart routes, so they could run golf carts on public street. Do you want to do that? I don't have any recommendations for that. I don't know why you'd want to do that. We have one golf course that's pretty much located, all the crossings are across, not down.
Well, I think we should wait until we have a problem with something else.
Right.
And when the police chief brings it to the
Right
council
now-
and says, we need to address thus and so. But I think we should go ahead and get the golf course taken
Golf
care
course
of.
and,
Yeah.
okay, Sandy Beach.
Sandy Beach, yeah.
Yeah,
So then, at
but
this,
it's important to keep our eyes and ears open.
all right, any further discussion? We'll move that to the ordinance 1170, we'll go to the third reading and recommendations for future agendas. Actually, I have two, and that was the ad hoc committee, so we'll have a packet, I believe, with all the names. We should have a committee that we will put in place next meeting.
For the senior center?
Senior center,
Well, technically,
multi-use. It's a
multi-use.
multi-use center.
Yeah.
So that one, and then ordinance 1164, Bartles Beach vending. Right now is tabled for the third reading. Bring that one back too, please. Anything else? All right, we are adjourned.